10 pounds on it. How you doing? Oh, you want me to snap the thing out? Now or later now. That's for Danny. That's for Danny back in the house.
All right.
Editors and producers. Hi, I'm Tim Burton. This is Tim Burton Almost Live. We're down here at the Toronto Metropolitan Toronto Convention Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada at PM Expo, and I have a good friend of mine from Enercare Connections. I thought it was a different name, actually. Ephram, wasn't his name changed?
Our company name or my name?
No, the company name.
Enercare Connections. We've been Enercare Connections for the better part of 15 years.
I don't remember the connections. Everybody always refers to you as
Enercare is essentially made up of 3 organizations. We have our home services group that is essentially the sales and service of HVAC or hot water tanks. There's another company to single family homes. So if you have a home, a single family home in Ontario, and you rent your hot water tank, there's a good chance you rent it from us, kind of thing.
Oh. Let's talk about exactly what Enercare does, though. You guys do submetering.
Right, Enercare Connections.
Sorry, I shouldn't just call it Enercare.
Right.
See, that's what I said.
It's all about branding.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Enercare Connections does submetering. And the submetering is purely to control the electricity.
So we could potentially submeter electricity, electricity, water. We also do gas in certain situations and potentially heat or thermal. We're also getting ourselves involved in geothermal projects, solar, really anything that uses energy or commodity that we can potentially help measure and meter and get people to pay for what they're actually using.
The equipment that you use for the hydro, and that's a Canadian thing, saying hydro? Electricity.
It's actually an Ontario thing, believe it or not.
Is it really?
So we are Ontario West. When we visit some of our partners in Alberta and we say hydro, they look at us like we have horns on our head. And they've asked us to start calling it electricity, not hydro. Not hydroelectricity.
That's a funny thing, right?
Yeah,
that's a
things you don't know. It's 416ers
right?
being parachuted into other regions of the country, and they don't like it.
Because Quebec, they would say hydro.
They would say hydro.
Again, because the electricity was formerly made by water.
Water.
Right?
Hydroelectricity.
Yeah. And then the rest of the country's not, which is really funny, right?
Right.
That is funny that in Alberta,
You
wouldn't know that until
you wouldn't know it until someone looks at you and says, "I don't know what you're talking about."
So are you measuring you measuring electricity the same way you're measuring water?
Similarly, so the electricity is measured. Essentially, there's a bulk meter coming into structure, and we take over after that. So we own a company called Triacta, just based in a little town called Carleton Place, just outside of Ottawa.
I know where it is.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's I've only been there once, and you blink kind of thing, but it's a nice little town. We've owned Triacta for the better part of 6
Carleton's
years.
like a suburb now, right, of Ottawa.
It's like near Canada, right? So it's like 40 minutes out of. I'm sure people live in Carleton Place and probably.
Well,
Ottawa.
you know who lives in between Carleton Place and Perth, right? Ian Miller.
He does?
Yeah, Ian Miller, the four-time Canadian gold medal champion, superhero, equestrian jumper of the world.
If you would have said who lives there and said, I'm going to give you $1 million, I wouldn't have been able to answer. But as soon as you said Ian Miller, I knew exactly who you were talking about.
Everybody's got to have a famous person,
No
right?
kidding, yeah.
All right, so you're manufacturing your meters there.
So on the electricity side of things, we are literally controlling the process from manufacturing, building the meters, all the way through to sales, client management, project management, engineering, and then all the way through to the management of the building and the contact center. But the meters are a multi-point meter, so the traditional bubble meter that you would see on the side of an individual house, that's what 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that's what you would have seen in a building. They would have had to have a meter room in the basement, taking up valuable space. Everything's leasable or sellable.
And encroaching in other people's environments, right?
Those days are done. So the Triacta meter is a multi-point meter. The box can actually manage anywhere between 12 to 20 suites and literally takes up a footprint that's about 16 by 20 that goes in an electrical room next to a panel. So all of a sudden, instead of, if a building has 200 units, instead of us needing 200 bubble meters, all of a sudden we need 10 or 12.
Yeah, one per floor.
Right, kind of thing. One every second floor, depending on the structure.
So there's a capital cost to this.
Right.
That's the developer.
Nope, that's on us. We have a no cap model. So the way I know sometimes it seems too good to be true, and when we're
I'm smiling. You're like, okay, you just blew sunshine at my ass.
There is literally no catch. Our model is we invest the capital over the course of our agreements, the partnerships. We eventually make that capital back. But we charge the end user, the tenant, the occupant, the condo owner, an admin fee. That not only help for basically a service fee to manage their accounts.
But the end user can't get out of that.
Right. So the builder or developer property manager would have
is committed to that.
They are, but part of what we do, which I really like about our value proposition, is no one ever wants to be forced into a position. You don't want to be forced to say you need to do this.
That's where I was heading with that. Yeah, because that would piss me off.
So we develop a relationship with the owner of the asset, the owner of the structure. We then take over through implementation, make sure that whoever's taking over that building, whether it's a property manager, condo corp. We train them, we let them know exactly what the bills are going to look like, exactly what their costs are going to be, so they come into this thing with eyes wide open. And the truth is, I'd argue that 8 times out of 10, 9 times, even 9.5 times out of 10, our costs are on par or even less than what they would be getting through potentially some
Because on a
others.
residential, forget about the condo market, but on a single household market, like my daughter who just said, I pay you guys. I find that, sorry, and this is Tim Byrne, I find that I don't like monthly bills. I find the whole rental fee thing irritating, and I'm like, get rid of that. You just go get a hot water tank, blah, blah, blah.
I agree, but it's one less thing to worry about. So you're paying for your hot water tank. If something goes wrong, all you do is call Enercare and we'll take care of it. You don't have to worry about it. You have to go to a store to pick up a new hot water tank, worry about calling someone in. You literally just call Enercare, and if you're renting your hot water tank from us, we will take care of it.
Is it all your feet in the street? Is it all your trucks? Is it all your guys? Are you subbing all that shit out?
So another big piece of our value prop is quite literally everything.
I just jumped you around a whole bunch of places.
I like it. It's fine. Okay. It's that's the way my brain works too.
ADD,
and eventually comes together, right?
There's a puzzle there somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
So is it all your feet in the street?
It is literally the big piece of our value prop is literally everything under one roof, especially on the electricity side of things. So again, we manufacture our own meters. We have our own sales team, our own client management team, implementation, marketing, engineering, product management, project management, new product development, IT, billing and settlements. We do our own debt collection and our contact center.
Really?
Everything under one roof. Everything in-house under one roof in Markham, Ontario.
Sorry, you're not subbing any of that shit out?
We're not subbing anything out.
Really?
Yeah.
And you head up the sales and marketing.
I take care of sales and marketing. We have a president that runs our organization. I get the pleasure of dealing with our great relationships and finding new ones over the course of day in, day out. I have a peer that manages project management and engineering, and then another peer that takes care of our back office. So there's essentially 3 VPs, 1 president. There are 125 of us from end to end that literally manage this business on a day-to-day basis.
Really?
And it is all about the people. I would argue that pound for pound, this is an A-team. This is where I dropped the mic, by the way.
Yeah, I got it. And just left. Have you ever talked to the guys from Reed?
Yes, we're actually talking to them right now.
Okay, I love him. Sorry, and not just his product.
Yeah.
His innovative mind.
Yep.
That's the guy that if I was in your business, I would go, I'm going to engulf and inhale you, not just for what technology you have now, but for what you can bring to the table in the future. Because sometimes when your corporation gets to a certain size, it's hard to find that creative, innovative, because anybody can invent something, but we had that conversation before we started this, right? Anybody can reproduce what you're selling.
Yep.
They just can't reproduce you.
This is, I'm stealing it, so hopefully it's not trademarked. I'm taking it as my own from now on.
It's a Timism.
Timism, well, every time I say it, I'll say Timism.
Right.
Yeah. But ultimately, I agree. So the truth is, we compete, and there should be competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have national competitors, probably 4 or 5 of us that compete. Ultimately, the difference that we find in the marketplace is everything's under one roof. That's great. Yeah. But our people really make the difference. And I like exactly what you said, is that everything is replaceable, and something breaks, you can fix it or find something else, and it's a little bit commoditized, but you can't replace our sales team, and you can't replace our marketing team, and you can't replace our contact center. These people literally give it their all every day, and that's what the difference is.
Yeah, on LinkedIn, they're the current cliche thing is hire slow, fire fast. I really like that.
I like that one. My old manager who just retired had another saying along those lines to say, "Be nice to people on the way up, because you're going to see them again on the way down."
And you guys are technology driven.
Yep.
And you must spend a lot of time and effort training people.
Yep.
LinkedIn also has that where the 2 CFOs, the CFO and the COO go, what happens if we train them and they leave? And the other guy says, what happens if we don't and they stay?
Right.
I think I actually promote my staff to leave in my organization. I want them to. So 70% of everybody that has ever come to work for me, 70% has asked for their job back within 24 months. We had a Christmas party, and there was 150 people in the room, and I asked, can anybody raise their hand up who's ever come back? And half the room, I was like,
right?
Sure.
That's awesome.
Well, and I promote people to leave, not because I want to lose talent, because I don't promote that I'm responsible for your happiness.
I couldn't agree more.
I saw that you and I were cut from the same cloth.
We are. Honestly, I completely agree. It's not a jail. You're not serving a term. If you're not happy, quite honestly, we, as a leadership team, will help you find what maybe makes the most sense.
Yeah, see, and I say the same thing. Let me help you to find another place within the organization or another place outside.
Right.
But I can help you get where you need to go.
Right.
I just can't make you happy.
Totally. What I do like is that over the course of the past 4 years, along those lines, we have really found people that care about the business, that want to make a difference, and that really believe in our vision and our culture. And it just, our tenure now is we're starting to see people sticking around for 3 and 4 and 5 years, even millennials who get bored after a few hours.
Yeah.
And it seems whatever we're doing, it seems to be working. And so it's all about human element.
Where'd you come from?
I came from, so I've been in this industry now for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
I spent a little bit of time at Lowe's Commercial.
Lowe's
Commercial.
Lowe's.
But the B2B side of it. And before that, I spent a good chunk of my time at Sears. If some of those folks remember what the Sears brand name is.
You don't look that old.
What's that?
You don't look that old.
Yeah, I know. Well, we were part of the B2B group that was off to the side, so we piggybacked off the name and the infrastructure. But that was it. But it gave me an opportunity to see what this industry, the builder network, the property management network, was all about.
So how'd you end up here?
At
Enercare Connections.
It's a small world, and the role became available. Quite honestly, just like everyone else, everyone should have nice mentors in their life because there's always someone.
What goes around comes around.
You just need some pay it forward.
Yeah,
you need someone to look up to. One of my mentors suggested at the time that I have a conversation with a fellow by the name of John McDonald, who was our president and CEO. We did, and 4 years later, here I am.
So how big is your personal team?
So my team is sales and marketing, client management, and implementation and sales operations. We're about 22 people. We're small but mighty. Ultimately, Enercare Connections is about 125, let's call it 130 people, including our manufacturing division at Tracta.
Last real hardcore business question. When you go in and do new development, are you subject to holdback, construction contract, the Ontario Lean Act? Did you participate in all that, or are they giving you a purchase order and a check at the same moment because you're a bit more of an infrastructure player than you are a trade?
The latter. So in Ontario, electricity submetering is mandated in new construction anyway. So
Okay.
that's been around for the better part of the decade. So if you're building a new building, you have to submeter for electricity.
So they're not hitting you up with the whole Lean Act and treating you like a subcontractor.
So we don't see that.
So you're a princess amongst the contractors.
To some degree, I mean, it's all about negotiating.
It's definitely a princess amongst the contractors. We get treated like crap. He gets treated like gold.
Well, it's not me. I get to come in and be the bad guy. The team, it's all
He's
roses
eating
for
steak
them.
and I'm eating chopped liver. That's what's going on, right? I got that.
Yeah. Okay, ultimately, yes.
You guys get treated better because you're part of the infrastructure of the building.
Yes, so we are literally involved before a shovel's in the ground. We are part of the design phase. So our project management, our engineering team will literally take a look at the drawings, and we will quite literally overlay the metering systems on those drawings so that it's part of the infrastructure, so that as they're subbing out their trades, they know exactly what to get scoped or what should be included in scope.
The multimedia thing, us doing this podcast, is this new for you guys?
It is newer. So there is a lovely lady behind the camera over here by the name of Yvette.
She's got a decent last name.
Decent last name. There's definitely some kind of connection. We'll figure it out later on.
I'm sure we're related.
Yvette's been with us for just about 2 years, and I would argue that over the course of the 2 years, we have really it's marketing on steroids. So it's not just about going to shows and doing events.
Why do you need to market? If you're mandated by the government, blah, 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 why the shit do you give a crap about marketing yourselves?
In Ontario. But we are still heavily regulated. We are still looking to grow our brand across the country. There's still different ways for us to make sure that people, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. And
Do you have competitors?
We have competitors. We've got about 5 competitors.
You do, really?
Across the country that are national, and then there's some local, smaller ones. And that's fine. There's enough pie for everyone, quite honestly. And, we play nicely for the most part in the sandbox. But I like the fact that we're winning most of the time because of the fact that we are probably not the most aggressively priced provider, but it's the entire value prop and then ultimately the people. It's the people that make the difference. And so as soon as our prospects meet our people,
I'll be honest, the whole pricing thing for me in today's Google world, I'll be honest, everybody's around the same. 10 cents high, 10 cents lower, but we're all around the same. And price means shit all to anybody anymore.
Yep.
And they can tell you all about the private little bids and everybody's gonna shh and put it in an envelope. We all know what it's worth. We all know it's $1 million or $500,000 or $2 or one. We know that a Mars bar is $1.50. Whether you go to Shoppers Drug Mart or whether you're going to Max Milk, it's $1.50.
Right.
Right. And one day Max Milk decides to sell it for $1.25 because they have too many or they want to get rid of stock. Right. But to actually think that it's a competitive world price-wise, it's not. The competitiveness is you.
I love that point, and I know what you're saying. It's not me. It's the team.
Sorry,
it's the team. It's us. It's our teams.
It's your people, right?
Yeah.
Your price means shit all.
Yeah. I completely
literally,
agree.
you can open up all those envelopes, and I've told clients, and I'm sure you've said this too. Open up all your envelopes. By the way, if we're not all within 10% of each other, there's a problem.
Yep.
We should be, because if you Google orange or pink army men, they're all around 10 cents. And if you find somebody that's $1 and another guy that's a penny, you go, okay, there's something wrong.
Something wrong.
So
yeah.
the truth is that you open up all the bids, you go, all right, they're all around 10%.
Yep.
Now I got to go, who do I like? Who do I trust? Who shows the best?
You're hired.
Right?
Yeah.
I said to my staff at our Christmas party, I said, because we do awards for the staff, and so a few of the staff complained that it's a popularity contest. And I said, yeah, fuck, it's a popularity contest. You're right. The guy that works the hardest, sticks his head above the foxhole. The guy who tries, stays late, comes in early, reaches out his hand, answers his phone, he becomes the most popular.
Right. Tim, you said it before. Luck doesn't just happen. People create their own luck.
Right.
I fully believe in that. I subscribe to that. It works. People that roll up their sleeves
and they do become the most popular and the most wanted and the most
successful.
Needed.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, totally agree.
And your price point is irrelevant. It really is.
Couldn't agree more. We are metering electricity, or we're metering water. The truth is, as an outsider looking in, apples to apples. What's going to be the difference?
Yeah, it's just a group of people that you surround yourself with.
So,
and with that, you are my new rock star.
Oh, thanks, Tim.
I'm Tim Bird. This is Tim Bird Almost Live. Tell me how people get a hold of you. Phone number, website, email. How do we get you?
People can take a look at enercare.ca/submetering saves. That's probably the best way to get in touch with us, or enercare.ca if they want to learn what the bigger company is all about.
That's why I say Enercare all the time. You say Enercare Connections. You need the Enercare Connections website now.
Right, yeah. So our marketing guru behind the scenes is saying, don't worry, it's coming.
Okay, you want it?
It's on her. It's on camera. You can't turn back now.
Do you want a big tip? I want you to buy enercareconnections.com.ca.tv.org .xxx.sex, and I'm going to tell you why. And I've had this happen to me. I own hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of domain names. I had somebody take stadia.ca and make it Stadia Sex. Oh no, and it was bad. Right? So people would Google and it would come up second, third, right?
Good tip.
Yeah, so you buy every domain, and by the way, for $60, right? You go, okay, there's 15, 20 main domain things. Buy them all. Do not buy just the .com and the .
It was, and we're going to add SEX and all that to it too.
No. I know it sounds weird that you're going to buy the .sex and the .xxx. Right.
Honestly, I wouldn't have thought of that. Yeah.
Here, you want the next one? And then we'll end the podcast. Because guys that listen to this go, I've had guys call me and go, oh my God, I'm dumb. I need to buy them all. Here's the next one. So all your competitors don't know to do that. Go buy all your competitors' names. We have almost, Stadia Glass has probably close to 75 of my competitors' names that they didn't buy the .xxx, the .ca, or the .au. Austria has a lot of org names.
Yeah.
So I went and bought all of my competitors' names. A lot of my competitors, when you Google them, we come up because I linked them all into my website. So here's the legal side of that. And GMC actually was the forerunner in courts about it. So way back, somebody bought GMC.ca, not .com. And the court made him sell it. Okay, so there's no legality to you owning all those names. The courts may tell you that you have taken some goodwill and they'll submit you to sell it for market value. So let me tell you how this worked. I made $30,000 by selling my competitors back their own name.
If we have a shortfall next year, we know how to make some extra money.
Well, you want to know how to pay for your marketing budget?
Yeah.
Buy all your competitors' leftover names, the .sexes, the .tvs.
Right.
Drive them all towards you. Let them call you up and go, no problem, it's worth $5,000. By the way, that's the market value right now when the name has drive rights, like analytics that says I'm driving X amount of people. So now that domain name you bought for $60, when you buy it, it has no rights. Now you have analytics on that domain name that you're getting 5,000 hits a month or 1,000, whatever it is. Do you get it? Now that domain name has value through analytics. So now that $60 just became $5,000. And I don't need to fight you in court. It's $5,000. This is what the analytics show. You can have your name back.
Or not.
Or not. And you can take me to court. By the way, the courts don't like to get involved in this shit because it's free market to buy them. It's only if you have a lot of goodwill invested that the court would have. If GMC guy had to sell it because GM, saying that GM would smother you with a big fire blanket and kill you and suffocate you, right? But well, they would, but they'd kill you, right? But you do this to your competitors and then you hold the marketplace. I know it sounded really bad, but
no, it's. Well, I can see the wheel spinning in her head already.
If you
she's on it.
If you ever want a phone call about some weird, cheap ways to drive your business.
Do we already have your contact info?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well,
okay. We do? Okay, good.
My phone number is 416-984-9045. That's my cell phone. I answer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No questions asked.
I'm not as, the cell phone's a big thing to give out, right?
No, it's not. Nobody calls. No, and I am zero at my company. So we have offices in Ottawa, Toronto, Aurelia. We have about 150 employees. We have 45 trucks on the road in the Southern Ontario area. If you call in and it literally says, hi, you reached Stadia Glass and Door 24-hour contract, if you press 0 right now, you get the president. Or you can press 1 for the service center, 2 for, right, and goes through things.
You just convinced me of something. Can I do something?
There you go.
All right, here it is. If you are interested in learning more about what could potentially be a difference maker in the submetering game, by all means, feel free to call me, Ephram Spiegelman, on my cell phone at 416-371-2443, and I will gladly take your call 23 hours a day.
That was great. I love it. I'm Tim Burton. This is Tim Burton Almost Live. We're down in the Metropolitan Toronto Convention Center, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I've learned how to say that so wickedly fast. We're here for 2 more days. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.